Alright, so we're doing the last question of exercise 9E, which is question 12. Let's read it together. It says, at a barbecue attended by 50 people, hamburgers and sausages were available. It was found that 35 hamburgers and 38 sausages were eaten. 35 hamburgers and 38 sausages were eaten. 6 people were noted to have eaten neither a hamburger nor a sausage. If no person ate more than one hamburger or one sausage, find the probability that a person chosen at random. Then we have these questions to answer. So if they ate a hamburger or sausage. But before we do that, we're going to fill out our table. Now, as you've realized in the previous videos, these are called probability tables because we put in probability values. And I could do that here, but I'm actually going to do it a little bit differently. It's very important that in the question, it hasn't told me to construct a probability table. So I'm really free to do whatever I find simplest here. So what I'm actually going to do is, for instance, instead of dividing everything by 50 basically, because I have 50 people. So all my values, I would have to divide by 50. Instead of doing that, I'm just going to put 50 here. I'm going to deal with just the people. So I know that the two categories that I have is going to be hamburgers and sausages. So, and of course you're going to have the complement of a hamburger and a complement of a sausage. We know that 35 people ate hamburgers. So this is where it's going to go. Oops. 35. Now, normally, if you're doing a probability table, what you would do is 35 divided by 50 equals 0.7. And then from 0.7, you'd put 0.7 here. But I'm just going to put 35. And you're going to see, I think it's easier. You could do it the other way. It might be easier the other way. Next, we know how many people ate sausages. 38 people ate sausages. And now from this, we could say, well, that means 15 people have to go there. And we would have to say that 12 people are going to have to go there. And that's because I know I have to add up to 50. I know that 6 people were noted to have eaten neither a hamburger nor a sausage. So that would be here, neither a hamburger nor a sausage would be the complement of H, the complement of S, which would be 6. Then I know that these two are going to have to add up to 12. So this 2 will be 6. Then these two are going to have to add up to 15, so this will be 9, and these two are going to have to add up to 35, so this will be 29. Now, when we come to answer the questions, you've got to make sure that you answer them in terms of probability. So when it says a hamburger or a sausage, what's the probability that someone ate a hamburger or a sausage? Well, that would mean, or a sausage, so that could mean they had a hamburger and a sausage, or it could mean they had a hamburger and no sausage, or it could mean they had no hamburger and a sausage. So we're really looking at 29, 6, and 9. And you could plus them all together, and what you're going to get is 44. 44. But the answer isn't 44. It's going to be 44 out of 50. And of course, a nicer way to write that would be 22 out of 25. And in the back of the book, they actually want you to write it as a decimal. So that's going to be 0.88, and that would be your answer. Next, we have the probability that a hamburger or a sausage, the probability that a random person ate a hamburger or a sausage. Okay, let me get rid of these highlights. So what's the probability that someone had a hamburger or a sausage? Well, let me get a highlighter. Let me get this. So if they had a hamburger, sorry, I didn't read the question properly. A hamburger and a sausage. Well, there's only one option there. It's just going to be 29. If they had a hamburger and a sausage. So that is going to be 29 out of 50. And again, the back of the book wants you to write it in terms of a decimal. That's going to be 0.58. The next thing that we have to do is find people who only one serve of food, people who only had one serve of food. So that could mean they had a hamburger, but then they didn't eat a sausage. So that would be 6. Or it could mean they didn't have a hamburger, but then they had a sausage. So it's going to be 9 plus 6, which is going to be 15. 15, and it's going to be out of a total of 50 people. So a nicer way you could write that is 3 on 10. And again, you have to write it in terms of a decimal, so that's going to be 0.3, 0.3. Finally, you're going to have the people who only had a hamburger. Let me get rid of these highlights. People who only had a hamburger. If you only had a hamburger, that means you had a hamburger, but no sausage. So it's going to be 6. So it's going to be 6 over 50. And again, you could simplify that fraction into 3 over 25. And then you have to write it as a decimal, which is going to be 0.12. So remember, all your answers have to be in decimals, and they're all your answers. Hopefully this video was helpful to you, and next we go on to the next exercise.